Hey Matt, GM.
Hey, Sophie. Yeah. Nice, quiet, rainy day over here. How you doing?
Oh, nice. But you already moved, no?
Yeah,
Nice.
a couple weeks ago. Keyword being quiet compared to being in the city.
Yeah, I can imagine. But I think that's, well, I don't know. At least for me, I think it's better.
Yeah, Mathis. How you doing?
Hey, hello. GM. I'm okay. I was just analyzing and reviewing the Green Goods Act, working on the assessment form. Yeah, I'm
Nice.
here.
What's up, Alpha?
Yeah. One. Oh god, my camera freezing
Hey,
again. Crap.
hey, Trinity.
Hello. GM.
Hey, man, see Alpha.
Hey,
Hey,
everybody.
what's up? The camera's going crazy. Mhm. Eyes open. We'll give it a few minutes for people to trickle in and we'll get started. Go, Karen. The slides open. Yeah. Turn my camera off. Cool. We'll give it just a couple more minutes, yeah, like a minute, and then we'll dip into the call. Let's see. We're at 8:07. Yeah, let's get started. So GM, welcome everybody to our October monthly call. Yeah, this one we got a pretty tight agenda. Just like not too many items, but a lot of dense things to discuss, such as TG24, some Greenpill local funding round proposals, and a Greenpill Garden proposal being put together. So pretty excited to dive into that. So yeah, here's a high level agenda. So yeah, we're gonna talk about Gitcoin Grant Rounds 24. Did some light work on creating a matrix from GG23 of all the chapters and Greenpill associated projects, and then kind of mapping from Matt and I's perspective, which rounds we feel like are a good fit. So we'd love to go through that with together and on the call and kind of sense make even further around fit. They talk about the Greenpill local funding rounds being crafted by, in particular, Nigeria and Brazil, and then as well as Swift Evo with DeSci. Then the Greenpill Garden, which is proposed overarching more of a network proposal to incubate chapter growth and collaboration. And then the regenerative protocols, which are underpinning the Greenpill Garden. And yeah, then we'll have some closing reminders. So yeah, it should be a fun call. And as always, before we get into it, let's center and ground ourselves with some meditation. Even if you take it away.
Hey everybody, nice to be here. Happy October. Looking forward to this action-packed agenda. Thanks, Afo. So before we get into it, let's just take a few minutes to center. So wherever you are, if you're feeling called, I invite you to close your eyes. And begin to drop in with yourself. Starting to sense into your breath. Feeling the points of connection between your body and the ground beneath you. And inviting a wave of relaxation up through your feet and your legs, your hips, the core of your body, your shoulders, your arms, your hands, your chest, your heart space, your neck and your head. And continuing to breathe, feeling the alignment in your spine, feeling the crown of your head gently pulling upward and the base of your spine gently pulling down towards the earth. And gifting yourself a moment of rest here. A moment of stillness. Noticing what's coming up for you as you take this pause. the thoughts, the sensations, the feelings or emotions, and just letting it all arise with acceptance, no judgment. And then taking this opportunity to just let all of that go. All of the energy of your day, of your week up until this point, allowing it to melt away into the earth beneath you, inviting yourself into presence for this call, knowing that everything will be waiting for you when you return. So just taking a few more rounds of breath, sensing into the peace and calm that you've cultivated. And feeling gratitude to be here in this Greenpill community. As you're ready, gently bringing yourself back to the room, back to the meeting. And thank you so much, Alpha. Thank you for having me, and thank you to the whole community.
Thank you. Appreciate it as always. And welcome, Nick, Jim. Cool. I might have to hack my camera off because it seems like it's been lagging, but I'll try to keep it on again. So, oh yeah, I could always, but we'll make it work. But yeah, thanks you for that, as always, to ground ourselves and center ourselves before we get into the call. So, appreciate that. All right, let's get into the agenda. So first up, we got GG24. I guess it starts next week, but technically, some domains are already kicking off. You could start applying, submitting applications. In essence, this is different than most typical GG rounds, where in the past it's been mostly operated by Gitcoin with some community rounds. In essence, you could say it's kind of really flipped to, I won't say it's like a community round model, it's the domain model, but now it's outsourcing all the operations and running of rounds to different groups. Myself, I'm helping to operate the PG tooling round under the public good R&D domain. So I could provide some context on what we're cooking up there and potential proposals people could create. But yeah, I'm gonna just share. I'm gonna go to the Gitcoin homepage, and we could kind of dive in to what things are. And then if anybody has any questions or thoughts, we could have some time to answer those. So in essence, as you can see here, there are going to be, so can I close this? Close this. Okay, so there's going to be, I don't know if my computer's lagging or I just can't open any of these other ones. But in essence, there's developer tooling and infrastructure, interop standards and infra analytics, public goods R&D, that's the round I was just talking about, domain, targeted development and adoption. This is more probably our warehouse, being the Greenpill community of local-based funding rounds and bioreforestation, and then privacy, which I haven't really dove into, but seems to just, if you're building privacy-centric applications, which I believe we have some in network doing something like CAS in Toronto is building some privacy-related stuff, so that could be a good fit. And let me drop a link here. Builders. Go this link. So you kind of see the different mechanisms that are going to be used. So pretty cool. This is my first time visiting the site, so this is all to me. So in essence, yeah, you have a plethora of mechanisms that are going to be utilized. Typically, you would just see quadratic funding, but now you're going to have deep funding, which is looking at repositories and deep looking at different data to then determine allocation. You have private voting, so I believe this will probably be utilized by the privacy round, which is really cool. Conviction voting, that's what we'll be utilizing in the PG tooling. And I also believe some of the solution development round also will be using conviction voting. And then of course there's retro. And then lastly, hypersearch, which the public good research round will be utilizing for calling them research. So yeah, so we got a plethora of mechanisms being deployed for this round. And I guess that's what it says for donors. Okay, this is cool. All right, so you could go through this and see how it looks like for different donors. Cool. But I'll pause there and just open it up to anybody on the call who has questions, thoughts about GG24. We'd love to see if I could help answer, in particular with the PG tooling round, and then we could share the matrix that we put together, kind of a matchmaking where chapters and different initiatives could fit for GG24. So I'll open that up, and then while I'm opening it up, if anybody has any questions, feel free to ask.
Hey, Afo. Got a question. I had to leave the call yesterday. Do you have any point of view on if we should go together or have separate projects, specifically for Greenpill Nigeria versus Solar Village? Both of them are public goods, I guess. Do you have any thoughts on that?
Still, not yet. But I think what's nice about that is that if it's better to go together, I think we should, right? But I think it's kind of understanding. I still don't have a good sense of the other proposals, and yeah, I'm not sure right now, but I think it's great that both options are available.
Okay, to be discussed. Thanks.
Yeah, TBD. Let's see.
What's the timeline for GG24? When do we pitch in projects, and who do we talk to?
Yeah, so it's per domain. And even per domain is then per round. It's kind of interesting. You have these domains, but they're not real. Each domain right now, a few of them have these sub rounds, so it's kind of sub domains. So in essence, everyone is. Yeah, there's no consistency we have to follow in the sense of, I believe 2 rounds have already opened up, the OSS or applications on Giveth have opened up on Friday, which was pretty random, but yeah, so it's each domain, and then so I can only speak to the PG tooling right now. I can't, maybe, I don't know if John's here or Jimmo, they could speak to the bioreforestation, but it is per each domain.
How's OSS different from PG?
OSS, they're focusing purely on low-level tooling, libraries, more compiler, more low level.
I guess. Yeah, cool. Thanks.
Yeah. Let's see. Okay, here we go. Okay, so this, as you guys probably remember, we had GG23, we did the whole evaluation. So what we got here, and let me share this with the crew. I guess we'll see our evaluation, but that's fine. So in essence, what we have here are the different domains, not all of them, because some I just think don't really apply to Greenpill. But we have local funding round, we have LATAM events. So this is a new wrinkle to the targeted adoption and awareness, where there's going to be a fund for LATAM events. Then there's bioreforestation, solution development, PG tooling, and then PG research mechanisms, and then privacy. So in essence, kind of went through and just map like, you know, where people fit. Not going to go through everybody like one by one, but we'd love to have anybody on the call right now open this up, take a look at, see where your chapter's at. Like for example, like like Chaz was just talking like solution development. That's potentially in partnership with like Nigeria or separately. And PG tooling could be something there as well. Same with Atlantis. Ivory Coast too is also doing, I know, building some tooling, so also could be potentially a good fit. So just trying to have an understanding, because I think one of the concerns with GG24 was there wasn't a dedicated round to funding, you know, nodes. So it's like, okay, how can we still ensure that chapters, nodes are getting funded? So instead of, we have, you know, I think overall we are able to get most chapters involved in GG24. Some question marks on some certain chapters, but yeah. Take a look at this, put any comments for your chapter or add, and we can go from there. And let me actually make sure people could comment. I think right now you can see. Okay. Cool. Any other questions or thoughts on GG24 before we move to the next topic? Or move to the local funding rounds?
This doc that you're presenting, did you share this one?
Did I share it? I bet you I did. Yes. The last message in the chat.
Oh, it's because for me it is the evaluation, the evaluation doc is not the.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, go to there's different tabs. Do you see my screen?
Yeah, let's see. Yeah, I can see.
Yeah,
oh, okay. The criteria.
So yeah, any questions on G24? It's coming up. This is our last monthly call before the round kicks off. So if you have questions and thoughts, please do ask and share.
So I wasn't looking at the screen. I'm out walking. It sounds like the PG round is for nodes, not just for standalone public good projects. Is that correct?
You said the PG round is for who?
For nodes. So that's the kind of slicing that we were using, rather than like public good project. Or how does that work?
And you're talking about the PG tooling or PG?
I don't actually know what I'm asking. Maybe you could just clarify that you had that list with all the nodes. How does that fit together with a public good round?
Oh,
gotcha. Is the public good round equal to nodes, or are there more things than nodes in the public good round?
So yeah, what I've looked at here are different chapters, and then I guess, and then different initiatives that were like, Atlantis, Agroforestal, that are, Greenpill Steward associated with Greenpill. And then I just have all the different rounds across the GG24 that are applicable to said initiatives and chapters, from the local funding rounds to the PG tooling. And yeah, so there's kind of the local funding round, which are based on doing local based stuff. and then there's the tooling rounds, which are based on like developing public tooling to use in said local environment. So that's how I'm looking at things. I don't know if that answered your question,
Okay.
but I wasn't too sure what your question was. But, yeah.
It's kind of related to what I was asking before. If if we have Greenpill Nigeria, it's a node that's helping out with developing Solar Village as a project. If you have a particular place for nodes to come together, and then you have another place for public good tooling, then the Greenpill Nigeria would be the node, and Solar Village would be the tooling. And I'm just trying to understand the framework.
Yeah, it could be that way, but within the targeted development and adoption is the solution development program, which is a kind of the hybrid of software and local based funding, because it's based on funding solutions at a local level. That so the PG tooling, I'd say, is more general, more about like we're focused on interoperability and collaboration and creating more network effect across tooling, while the solution development is more targeted, more, I would say, the stuff maybe potentially Solar Village, things like that, or like, okay, specifically the Green Pair app, for example, fully developing that for them. Yeah, that would fall in that round.
Yeah. Because they're doing like these 2 projects, and in Greenpill Toronto, I'm running like 6 projects, right? So if I'm running 6 projects, do I have 6 plus 1 application, where 1 is for the node and 6 are for the tool?
Well, it depends on the projects and what's the service proposal, of course, right? And yeah, I definitely, like I think, this is, you just gotta kind of figure out, maybe some could be bundled together, or they have overlapping pieces. But we could, feel free to ping me, in particular on the PG tooling. That's where I could help the most, because that's the route I'm operating. So
Okay. Yeah, I mean, it's the same problems we had before, right? We just need to have someone to say how we're going to think about it, and then we'll think about it that way. I just don't want it to be frowned upon when I pitch in like 6 different projects plus the node, and people say, well, that's overlap. Well, it's yes and no, it's overlap. The node is the community event building that I'm doing, and running weekly meetings and educating and whatnot. And the tooling is building actual projects. And so sometimes it's the same people, but it's not 100% overlap, it's partial overlap. So I just need that to be clarified.
yeah, I think, well, because there's no cross domain, I don't know how much that can be enforced. It's really kind of, because there's no cross domain, like, oh, okay, yeah, you applied, since it's not under one umbrella. So in essence, like, you probably can have that approach. But I would just say, like, my personal take, with that, just having a lot of applications for a lot of projects, it's just a lot on yourself as a builder to try to like handle and manage and make sure you execute well. So that would just be like, I would probably pick a couple to really prioritize. But yeah, that'd just be my take. But yeah, ping me and we could talk more. Cool. Anybody else have questions? We go to.
Yeah, we have a wallet that was developed by devs in Greenpill Brazil. We want to connect the wallet with the tools we use, basically. So it will be something that is focusing on integration. We already have a prototype, a functional prototype, and a open repo. I'm still trying to find a place to see if this fits in any round for further development. Do you think this would fit something?
Potentially solution development. If given that it's a locale driven application, it depends on what you'd be wanting to build. Potentially PG tooling if you're looking to do more integration work and connect it with other things. And
I think would be
yeah.
more integration, but I know PG Tooling is focusing just on the few projects, and there is like
No,
already a kind of
wait,
oh,
wait,
it's
that's
not
not the
just a
case.
few.
No.
Okay, okay.
We have a
I
we
will
have
take a look on that.
the interoperability is just the set of tools that we're encouraging and highlight to be integrated. Like, but those are low level primitives, like using EAS, using
Yeah,
yeah.
we would do that. Basically, we want to integrate the wallet with a cookie jar contract, so we can create different. Yeah, we want to integrate with gardens, and yeah, at least for now, this is what we want to do.
Yeah,
Just
that
allowing
qualify.
people to use.
That should qualify. Yeah.
Cool.
Yep. Any other questions? But yeah, let's keep it moving because we're at 8:30, so I want to be cognizant of time. So let's move on to the next flow, which I actually want to either pass it over to you, Coy, or Admiral, to talk about the local funding round. Maybe Coy, you could go first. Talk about Brazil for like 5 minutes.
Yes, we made our proposal. We are requesting we gather like around 13K. But no, I'm gonna be step back on that. It's 10K, but we want to request like 3K for Greenpill for the network to help us to reach 13K. So we made a proposal for region coordination, asking for 25, and we want to do around with 38 in total, where we would allocate partial using the fair fees system to allocate to the community that will operate, and also the Greenpill Brazil team that will make it happen. So we want to fund local programs. So it is a program for local programs, and we kind of developed a system on Sarafu where we can tokenize commitments. So we want to receive proposals of commitments of our regional hubs, like Region Hill, and they will make commitments in this proposal, and we will tokenize these commitments using Sarafu and distribute the funds to there. That's the plan, kind of. Seems to be complex, but we're just gonna use our own tools, the tools we already adopted to be our governance and exchange tools for exchange. So yeah, this is the scope. We have. I can talk about the rounds we have committed. Like we have like Region Hill 2. Basically, Nick, I think Nick is here, but Nick is building a proposal for Region Rio de Janeiro 2. He's part of the commission. He's leading the commission of Region Rio de Janeiro projects, and he's also like coordinating with them to what to do with this fund. So what they want to do now is the funds we distributed on Sarafu. They decided to do like a program to decide, between them what to do. Like if they want to build, there is already some ideas around having 2 minivans for people to be able to get food in the places that produce food and distribute in the city, help people with the cleanups. So this is the kind of, there is other proposals for events, like doing a big event for them. So the idea is that they will use these funds to do a local program, and we're gonna match this whatever they decide if it get approved, right? This is just like a signal. So we reach it out to them to say, hey, we have this in mind, so maybe you should prepare something, and like this is the scope, and we're gonna release more information for the whole community soon. But this is already like some of the commitments we have. So Region Rio, we have another one in Rio de Janeiro, which is with Fabulosa, which is like a hackathon that we will use fungi design, basically micro fungi designs on the hackathon. And there is also his city that we want to accelerate 3 prototypes on the hackathon they're gonna do on civic innovation. And there is also, yeah, I think that there is one more. It is the agroecology commons, but this is still uncertain. We are trying to get more partnerships around this one, but we already have the funds that one of the local wards committed. Yeah, thanks for showing the doc. This is the main doc. It is a big doc because it is the whole the complete program. But we have another doc which is more simple when we are describing more in details the operational part.
Nice. Yeah.
Yeah, I can talk about this cycle if you want. This is something that could be useful for us to understand because it's a way to use Sarafu, and we have this in our scope for what we have in mind for Greenpill 2. So basically, on Sarafu, you can have vouchers, which are ERC20 tokens, and pools, and in there you can create a pool. And you can add vouchers in this pool as a manager. So you need to approve manually the vouchers that will be exchanged on the pool. When you do that, you set up a limit for this voucher, how much of this voucher can join the pool, and what is the exchange rate of this voucher, how much it values in comparison with other vouchers. So basically, it starts with a commitment. So we use these ERC20 tokens as commitments. So I commit to plant 100 trees, and this has a value. So there is work in there, there is time, there is resources you put in there. So has a real value in the world. So even if we don't have the funds, we can say how much this costs, right? So this commitment has a cost, has a value. And so if you commit with something and you have reputation, I can believe that you're gonna deliver. I can give you credit for that. Oh, do you want help now? And you can return me later, like a friend does. So this is how we are simulating. So you commit, the community gives credit, you deliver and report, and we can recycle this credit, basically, or other people can recycle for you. Like someone else could just take your commitment and release credit for you on the pool. So this is how it works. So this creates a reciprocity cycle where we always have commitments coming out and credit being coming in and credit being released, basically. So yeah, that's the how it works.
Nice. Yeah, this is great. It's a nice overview of the cycle. Cool.
I love that, Sarafu. Thank you, Koi, for using it. I said I love it, and I said thank you to Koi for trying to use it. It's an amazing product, and amazing platform.
It is indeed.
Thanks for sharing what Greenpill Brazil is cooking up. Continue to jam on that. Next, I want to.
Yeah, if anyone wants to know more or want support, let me know, guys.
Are you using their interface or are you building your own interface to Sarafu? Because I've been thinking about building
No,
my own.
I'm using them on
Okay.
the wallet I mentioned before.
Yeah.
We were thinking about like having a mini app just for Sarafu, but I think Will is already planning that, so they are building their own wallet and their own native app. So we
Okay.
don't need to
Okay, good.
to care with that.
Awesome. Thanks.
And Susiva has a question in the chat. Okay, to respond to Corey.
Yeah, the experience it's pretty. How can I say? It's very clear, like how much the tool avoids some people and how much the tool attracts other types of other audiences. Like I feel that people who are more connected already with self-organizing movements, they are already used to the terms like bank credit or something like that. And there is also the fact that Sarafu is inspired by the rotational labor associations, which here in Brazil we know as multirão. So this is also a cultural practice. So people who understand this cultural practice, they also get enchanted by Sarafu, even with the complexity. They got curious and they want to know more. So this is kind of my perception that like there's some people who just want to get their funds and like get out from the of the tool, and there are some people who really got curious about and interest.
Cool. Next up, for Nigeria, Amio, if you, yeah, Amio's here. I'm not sure if Mary's. Yeah, Amio, would love for you to share what Nigeria's cooking up. See if I can open up the proposal.
Okay, yeah, Jim. Thank you for. I was supposed to talk earlier, but I was on transit then. So, Jim on. So, it's Amir, Greenpill Nigeria the world. So, at Greenpill Nigeria, we are looking at task round. Task is an infrastructure for providing electricity and internet to locals. And then the locals that we are looking at this, we are targeting the youth. And then for us to get youth where they have a high concentration, we are targeting universities. We are targeting 2 universities at the moment, which is UNN and UNICEF. And then tax, we are transforming tax from just a starting station to now a community hub where creative builders come together to brainstorm and build, and then host a meetup, seminars, and hackathons. And then, in addition to that, we are planning on running a node infrastructure for us to have some node set up there. It will be an avenue to teach locals how to run node, and then also bring actual decentralization in terms of geography to Ethereum and then all the networks that we are going to participate in, which I believe that at the moment we believe, and all of us believe in something which is Ethereum. So that is what we are looking at to do with Greenpill Nigeria last round. Thank you, Apple.
Thanks, Amio. Yeah, and now to add to this, I know the last call we just had yesterday, Kaz joined and talked about the initiative he's doing with like Solar Village, right? I believe that's what's called. So maybe Kaz, do you want to share just a few words there and kind of correlation to the Nigeria proposal?
Absolutely, yeah, thanks. So I'm working together with the United Nations, and we're in a cohort 2 of a Cardano funded or sponsored program. But that doesn't mean we're exclusively on Cardano. We're going to do payments on EVM, and we're going to do reporting on Cardano. And the problem is that they have 20 plus solar installations that are off grid, so not connected to the internet. Sorry, they're not connected to the electricity network. And they have challenges with collecting payments. The challenge is that the villagers have access to airtime, but that's not what the investors want to get paid in. So what we'll do is we'll take airtime, we'll convert it into a crypto called Compliant Naira, which is the first stable coin that's compliant and approved in Africa, which just happens to be in Nigeria, so that's awesome. And then we'll use that to pay the investors. So it's a payment app, but it's also a metering app. So we're gonna give credits for kilowatt hours. And when your prepaid kilowatt hours run out, then we'll turn off the meter using API. And then when the user prepays again, then we'll turn it back on again using an API. Because these microgrids, even though they're remote, they are connected to the internet. So it's a big project, lots of moving parts, a lot of participants. I started it with Greenpill Toronto, and actually one of the projects that we're building in Greenpill Toronto. But I'm not going to use Greenpill Toronto branding. It'll be probably Greenpill Nigeria branding, plus Qubit, which is my identity product, to sort of figure out who the users are, plus a ton of other projects. GreenPayer, metering, which is 2 Nigerian projects. We'll bring them in. This is Solar Foundation in the US. And there's a Cardano project here in Canada that's going to help me do a lot of the coding for that part. So it's a really exciting project. We got UN sponsoring. No money yet, but we get their brand recognition, and hopefully their job is to help me find investors. So yeah, that's the project. Just starting up right now. Well, we're starting phase 2 right now.
Nice. Yeah, and there's a lot, like Kaz was saying yesterday, on like how they're still using 2G. Like that's the different like the technology that's being utilized for these things. Like it's things we probably don't use anymore, but are still very useful and being used across Africa.
Yeah, we might not use it, but there's millions of people in Africa using it, so it's robust as heck. We just need to go back and find some old USSD developer that can help us. It's like when 2000 and one bug came around, the Y2K bug. We had to pay so much money to find COBOL developers. It's kind of that situation all over again. We brought them out of retirement to help us with the Y2K bug.
This is bad, dude. That's like, this being like a hermit, and they're like, "What do you need to do?" Okay. Cool. We got 10 minutes, and so I've done a pretty. Well, Matt, do the poll up, and then I gotta get into the Greenpill funding proposal. Yeah.
Nice. All right, you want to go to the slide?
Yeah.
All right. POAP is live. Secret word is move-green. Enter that on the POAP Home mobile app. And if you're unable to do that, I got some Mint links as well. So just just throw a message in the chat, or shoot me a message on Telegram or Discord, and I'll share that link. And it's open for 40 more minutes.
Cool. Thank you, Matt. So once again, that is move-green, move-green, and it's in the chat. All right. Let's go to Greenpill Garden Season 1. So have to speed run through this a little bit, just given how much time we have left. But if anybody could stay on after for like an extra 5-10 minutes, if you have any questions or thoughts, we'd love to get some feedback. So the kind of level set, typically with Gitcoin rounds, or typically for the past couple ones, it's been like a region coordination or Greenpill run round. that has funded chapters in the local initiatives. And given we discussed about GG24, there isn't really like a dedicated round for that. There's these different rounds that some chapters fit, some chapters don't fit. But in essence, I think within the network, we've been going through this process for the past few months, past couple quarters around structure, identity, our protocols. And in essence, I think the realization is that we need more than just financial capital in order to sustain and grow. We need to have other resources such as like social, cultural, intellectual, spiritual, and all these different capitals that make up the influence of capital. And we do that already in the network in some ways with these calls, with the space we hold for different things, but not with a focus and an intention and a kind of having a protocol around enshrined around that. So the idea with Greenpill Garden Season 1 is to, well, first starting with the theory of change is if local-based regenerative initiatives are connected to a multitude of capitals, financial, living, social, intellectual, cultural, material, with a focus on environmental and civic engagement, then local regenerative initiatives will be equipped to establish deep roots in their community and attract sustainable capital. You need to add the because, but that's what we have currently for theory of change. And the outcomes that we're really trying to focus on are helping chapters establish more connections and partnerships at a local level, increasing community awareness and engagement in regenerative theory initiatives, helping chapters, get local contracts and service agreements, and then of course onboarding people into the space. And right now, light eligibility would just be being a Greenpill chapter, having a karma gap, doing the intake. So let's see. You can take a look at details. Yeah, right now, me, Corey, Matt would be like leading it. And then in essence, if there's something that we can enshrine as like this is the Season 1, we can then have a process of, determining operators for next seasons, and that's having a flow for that. So the level set, the idea would be the first set come with the theory of change. And also just to give some context, this is still all being ideated and like finalized. So some things here will change and be added or potentially removed. So just want to make sure that have the understanding. But in essence, right now, what we're planning would be to have a theory of change first to kick off, where every chapter does a retro reflection on the past, where things are, and kind of maybe the initial theory of change and how that's gone, and then flow into crafting updated or new theory of change. And then from there, the idea is to then take that more abstract theory of change and start to connect it to more concrete capitals, which are still somewhat abstract, but more grounded in different domains. So you have understanding of what capitals you focus on, as well as what other capitals, other chapters are focused on that you have synergy on. And then lastly, or not lastly, the third phase would be then to go into doing CIDS. So this is now coming back to the CIDS framework on how we report activities. And the idea there would be to, now you have the capitals, now you can define within each capital different activities that you can report that then correlate to your set outcome that you're looking to achieve, such as securing a local contract agreement or growing a community, onboarding X amount of people into Ethereum, etc. And then the third phase would actually now get into tooling. So these first two phases are not focused on tooling. They're focused on understanding and grounding in identity, structure, and protocols, to then go into actually then choosing the tools that help best fit what you're trying to accomplish within your initiative. And that would be ideally going for then like a couple months of implementing, using these tools to achieve outcomes, etc. And then the last part would be to review how that went, do a retro, and ideally kick off another season. And in essence, you could kind of say this kind of even potentially replaces our chapter onboarding process, to where if you want to start a chapter and you can just join the season and go through a flow like this. That's a flow that every chapter is basically going through to some degree. Who knows what future seasons might look like, because things could change as more projects reach maturity, and we might not have different programs, but just start pretty excited about what we could do. So that's the program, set to run from, let's say, late October to around January, February time, around 3 months. But what's really underpinning that are these regenerative protocols that, in essence, we're just kind of formalizing. A lot of these have already been things that have been being worked on in different facets. So yeah, let's dive into what we got here. You can see a glossary of different things. And did I not share a link for this? Let me do that. I've got 3 minutes. So we have Greenpill IRL, which builds upon chapter event funding, builds upon applied for in 9. So we're not just discarding all the ideating and the work from there. And this would be simply around a protocol that's on funding events, and then capturing those events with both strong content so that we can share that IRL content, blogs, podcasts, and interviews, and then also having on-chain, like an on-chain system. So like if you do an event, it's very clear how you need to capture that with Unlock Protocol, for example, or POAP, or whatever tool makes sense. And you can see some of the people, potential advisors and potential leads. Next, we have the regen resource reservoir. This ties into stuff Corey was talking about with commitment pooling. This is heavily centered on creating a shared hub of resources within the regenerative space, to where you could access services such as Gravity DAO, Course or Learning, or Regen Commons. Melinda and Stefan were doing the facilitation. They could offer service as commitment and different things of that nature. Same with all the chapters themselves. Like if you have a skill or something to provide, technical, research based, local, community based, you can provide that as a commitment in this what's being picked up. And what's really nice is that there's just kind of incubating this within the local funding level, and then we could also then use it at the larger network level. So pretty excited about this one. Next up, we have public good staking. So that's centered around having Ethereum-based infrastructure for staking and yield, to where you have nodes running that you're earning yield with, that then could cover certain costs, and then you could put that into other yield-bearing opportunities like opt-in vaults or impact stake to compound it. And really, the essence here, I think, is really powerful. This ties into even the stuff being planned in Nigeria with the local funding round, to basically have infrastructure run that could help cover the utility costs of internet and different things. So yeah, this one's pretty. We already have our Genesis squad that's up. It's currently in the process of fully going live. With some nuance there, but yeah, we already have workshops going on. We did a workshop last week or a couple weeks ago on just getting into staking and OVO, opt-in, and all these different things, and definitely underlies kind of the need to have local roots, but also start having on-chain infrastructure that over time could grow and really sustain local initiatives. Lastly, we have the Greenpill Impact Framework. So this is around how do we track impact, how we do impact reporting. And this is very much crucial for all the other 3, because having this protocol helps to report on that impact of doing the public staking, doing the Greenpill IRL, sharing the region resources. So this is centered around, in essence, creating the tooling and the framework that makes it easy to automate reporting. To give some context, we're in the RealFi hackathon with Green Goods, and we're building an integration with Karma Gap, completely on chain, to where you work and then you get work approved on Green Goods. That's going to create an impact activity on Karma Gap. So that no longer as a project builder or somebody that's doing impact would you need to go to Karma Gap. You could just do the impact and it'd be automatically uploaded to Karma Gap. So those are 3 good 4 protocols that would be underpinning the Greenpill season. I think I just made it over by 1 minute. But I'll pause there for any questions, thoughts, ideas. I think many on this call.
I'll share a couple. I'll share a couple comments. Yeah, I think what you said earlier, where this kind of could, I don't know if replace is the right word, but replace the new chapter onboarding flow. I think that makes a ton of sense. But yeah, I mean, broad overview, it's a pretty strong focus on all the different forms of capitals, not just financial. But I guess since leaning into my regen to degen arc, from the financial side of things, I think it's pretty exciting to basically set up these financial primitives that it's like the foundation for financial sustainability. What's missing? More additional capital to kind of plug into it, but I personally think that having that, like architecting that foundation, will make it easier for projects to actually raise additional funds and yield is gold. Like, we're not swimming in funding in the public good space, so we really need to be efficient with the capital that we do have. So yeah, I'm super excited about I'm super duper excited about that one.
Yeah, well said.
And then also, I guess there's one more quick comment. We've said this before, the last like half year or so, there's been a ton of planning, a lot of different moving parts. But we've kind of mentioned it a number of times, where the funds that are in our treasury, we haven't heavily deployed it just because we haven't really been raising additional funds. And, you have the concern of just like emptying out the treasury and then like, oh crap, like now what? But I think we're at a pretty exciting point where, like, we have a decent plan. We have a very solid, mature plan of attack, and I think it's really time to deploy those funds. For these local funding rounds, we need to do a little bit of math, determine what we need for operations. But besides that, the financial side of this, it's one, your chapter in good standing, and none of this is necessarily finalized, but just kind of sharing some broad overview thoughts. You're in good standing. Here's some capital. There's not really hoops to jump through. You're not scrounging for donations. And then the second part is set up that infrastructure. Here's some additional capital. Plug it into that infrastructure. So yeah, I think now is the time to really go for it, because we need to raise additional capital. So I think what we got a solid plan, and yeah, let's freaking go for it.
Yeah, and to piggyback off of what Matt just said on like raising capital, I think one of the potential benefits of having these protocols is that they will be self-sustained. So no longer are we doing one-off applications for certain things of, oh, fund this, event or fund this thing. It's no, help fund this protocol, and this protocol is doing X amount of impact. And by funding this protocol, but the next month we could do, set events and things. So it helps to create more of a clarity and a reputation and trust we could build over time, and something that's more clear, because the network does a lot. And I think a lot of times we're trying to explain like everything the network does to people, it's a lot, especially when people have different interests. Now we're kind of having different segments. Like, are you looking to fund events and you want to grow Ethereum adoption? You have Greenpill RL. Are you looking more like the Ethereum side and growing the infrastructure? Public good staking. Looking to share. So like this helps to kind of create a sense of self-sustainingness with each one could be autonomous to a degree. And it's not just related to Greenpill, like these are related outside of Greenpill. So yeah, that's what I'm pretty excited about too. Is that having now this ability to be more confident, being like, you're funding this protocol and this is what we're doing, and this, we're not just like, oh, this one-off thing, like, okay, now we'll think of some new idea for you to fund.
And there's also a level of, it's not just like, oh, donation, give up your capital. You give it up, that's it, that's the end of it. I think the most interesting thing about some of these financial primitives is you're donating the yield that's being generated.
Mm-hmm.
Like you can, I'm going to go through the rundown. I'll mention bread co-op a little bit, but like bread co-op, impact stake, even squad staking, it's different than those two, but like the individuals you're maintaining your own capital and your own infrastructure. You're basically just deciding how much of the yield that's being generated you want to be donating. Yeah, to me, that's super powerful.
Yeah, bread. Yeah, go dollar. Mm-hmm. So yeah, so I think our next steps with a lot of this is doing getting a final draft. So if you want to provide feedback, please put comments. If you want to participate in one of the protocols or help with some things, please put your name down and share your thoughts. Because the next step would be to take this and basically create like different pitch decks that we could then send out to potential what we're calling sponsors instead of funders, more so sponsorships. So I think our next step would be to, I believe we even have a proposal. So here we could start fleshing out across the different service providers, different proposals, why they should support it, why, what benefit do they get out of it. Because some of our proposals won't be just we're not just asking for funds. Some of it will be asking for services. Hey, we would love to have you commit a service to our commitment pool, or, et cetera. So yeah, I think that's our next step. So we could I know GG24 is kicking off. But in essence, I think this is very important to have for all the chapters. So even as your chapter or initiative getting funding in one of the funding rounds, this still will help to serve the other aspects of taking that funding and being able to utilize it well and have an understanding and grounding in how using it. And if you already have that grounding and understanding, being able to share it with others so that we can all learn together and grow faster and scale up what we're doing within Greenpill. So yeah, pretty excited for the potential here.
Hey, quick one. Is draft V2, is that the tab that we're supposed to comment on?
Yes.
Okay. I'll take a look.
Cool. Yeah, we're at 9:08, so I definitely want to be cognizant of time and appreciate everybody that's still here. Looks like kept mostly everybody. So let's go to the closing reminders. And then, if you have any more thoughts or questions, we'll continue jamming on this throughout the next couple of weeks. So you could just time to provide feedback. I guess we did have chapter and go check in, but I think we got all the, we got that covered with the funny rounds. All right, Matt, you want to close this off?
Hell yeah, let's do it. All right, so I shared my screen in advance. I can be a bit more organized, but first up, we got too many tabs up. All right, so Regen Commons has officially launched. I can't remember if it's an 8-week or a 12-week process, but they.
Hey Matt, I think you're showing your Twitter. Information about the community.
Yeah, I don't have a link for the Regen Commons, to be honest with you. But
okay.
So if anybody's not familiar, Regen Commons is a decentralized brand and IP commons designed to nurture and grow the Regen identity across Web3, ensuring it remains a public good while aligning shared incentives. It kind of came out of the ETH Denver situation, and it's a lot of like Regen Network folks, a lot of Greenpill folks. So it's a lot of a lot of people within our circles. But yeah, the 8 or 12-week process was incredibly well done, and I assume there'll be more resources that kind of come out of that. But yeah, shout out Regen Commons and congrats on that one. Next up, I got my open link. So Bread Co-op. So Bread Chain is now Bread Cooperative. And Regen Coordination is officially a member. Originally it was ReFi DAO, but turned it into Regen Coordination, which Greenpill Network is obviously a part of. So I've been writing up a proposal that I'm going to throw in the hub, hopefully by end of day, to bake a bunch of bread with network funds. And yeah, that's a super exciting one. It's a piece of the puzzle for the financial sustainability things. And I also think we should kind of dive into the other projects a bit more that are a part of the cooperative. So yeah, that's a biggie. Next up, we got the Giveth Causes round officially wrapped up. You can still donate to the different causes or see all the different causes that have been created, but I think it was pretty open for the ones that were accepted into this, a bunch of different Greenpill related ones. So I think I don't think there were a ton of donations, to be perfectly honest with you, but I think the primitive is actually a solid one. So we'll see what comes next as usual.
I think this
And
speaks
thanks
to
to
the
everyone.
donation fatigue, like People are tired of donating.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so. That's
And
it's just
nobody
like
has money.
yeah, we're all donating to each other's causes and scrounging up, but yeah, we shall see. It's definitely been an interesting kind of shift in how the the space kind of operates. But yeah, shout out Giveth for sure. Octant Epoch 9. Things are reloading. The allocation window opened up, I think, 12 minutes ago. So once they finish kind of updating their platform, people can start allocating. If you don't already have GLM locked, I'd highly recommend getting some and locking it on Octant.app. And yeah, it's 90-day epochs. So this Epoch 9 is Ethereum creators. And then Octant is doing daily live streams with, yeah, a bunch of the different projects. And as always, they have the calls on Tuesdays and Thursdays. So shout out Octant there, and remember to allocate. I can't remember exactly how long the allocation window is, and the page isn't up right now. I think it's 2 weeks, but yeah. So write yourself a reminder if you haven't done that already. You're right. We've been talking about this one for a hot minute now, the Greenpill DNFT campaign through Atlantis. So that's still live. And then I believe there's 35 days left. So if you're an impact project, you can still throw out bounties. And if you're an individual, you can check out the bounties. There's location-based ones and digital-based bounties. Okay, next up, we got the Green Sci Fund Pool. Swift Evo threw together. I believe there's been, I can't remember if there's 2 or 3 proposals that have officially passed, but yeah, it's a cooking.
Almost 4. Yeah, almost 4 right now. And I'm also onboarding the 5th one and the 6th one, which is coming. Yeah.
You
Nice.
could execute that one if you want.
Hey, we're definitely getting our feet underneath us with gardens, and yeah, the signaling pool and funding pool combinations. It's pretty powerful stuff. So yeah, definitely.
Matt, can you drop the
as
link
usual.
as you're doing this on the chat?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Sorry, I still haven't set up my second screen after the move, so I'm kind of struggling.
No worries.
Let me just throw these links. Swift Evo, if you wanted to share a couple thoughts, please feel free while I'm just throwing some links in the chat.
Yep. For the green side proposal that we said is a total 10 quota. So right now is 4 is already on garden. So 2 is cooking. So which means that there is around 4 quota is left. So if you have some grassroots project, which is you can contact the local chapter for the nomination, and it will be help you to into the next stage. Of course, if we have 10 projects together, then that would be good to think about what is the next step and then support that 10 project in another new way. Yeah, thank you.
Nice, thank you. Good stuff. All right, let me keep on plowing.
You're mad.
All right, so we got.
We haven't. I'm gonna hop the public is speaking. I'll let you close the call, okay?
Cool. Sounds good. I'll see you over there in a minute. Okay, so next up we got some Regen Coordination Hub proposals. So the other day, Monty threw up a proposal to migrate the Regen Commons discourse to Regen Coordination Forum because, you know, get that cross-pollination happening, and we might as well be frugal with digital infrastructure. So hopefully that one passes. And then Trinity and I believe, I don't remember who else, Trinity and a couple other people put together a proposal to develop a commitment pooling playbook for the Regen Coordination Local Refi Toolkit. So yeah,
Me and
definitely check.
Louisa. Me,
You and
Trinity,
Louisa,
and
okay.
Louisa.
Okay, awesome. Sorry about that. Okay, yeah, I thought it was Luis. I was like, maybe I'll just not include everybody instead of missing one person. But yeah, if anybody hasn't already signed up for the new Regen Coordination Hub, please do. It's gaining a bit of momentum, so yeah, definitely take a look there. Greenpill, the first season is officially kind of wrapping up. I believe is the 12th, October 12th, I believe is the deadline to kind of claim your Greenpill. And then we'll be doing an airdrop to everybody that claimed in this first season. And yeah, that's still a bit raw, but interesting tool for like kind of measuring activity and contributions within the network, and then eventually utilizing that as for governance weighting. So, you know, slow and steady as usual, but let me drop the link in the chat here. But yeah, POAPs from the monthly call is one of the things. So pretty much everybody here should be able to claim at least something.
Yeah, I think if someone finds any issue with Greenpill, please let us know, because Greenpill made some changes on the platform, and there are some fixes we may need to do.
Yeah, thanks for guild.xyz just made a huge update. Okay, a couple more things. So the RealFi hack is still going. Deadline for submissions is in a little bit more than 8 days. So this is through Funding the Commons. Definitely a pretty interesting one. And a quick note: the Regen Hub is hosting something at DevConnect. So I know Luisa and probably Coy and a bunch of others are working on this one too. So if you're going to be down in Buenos Aires in November, for sure check that one out. And I guess a quick update at the end is the Writers Guild is finally pressing forward with this Web3 tooling series. So we did a couple interviews with so Devo and Anastasia, and yeah, set up Atlantis bounty for all the different projects. So all the projects that were in Regen Coordination GG23. I'm going to send a follow-up message, but yeah, there's going to be a bounty that you can claim funds there. So the big takeaway there from my perspective is financial carrots make things happen. But yeah, I think that is basically the rundown of everything. Let me just quick go back to here and make sure I'm not missing something. Yeah, that's about it. So yeah, I guess we can open it up if there's any other final questions, or if anybody else on the call wants to share an update, please feel free, go for it. And if not, we can wrap this one up and catch our breath, get some water in us, and we'll do it again next month. Nice. All right, we've had enough fun for one day. Hey, Jonathan, how are you?
Thank you so much. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever your time zone is. Once again, my name is Jonathan. I'm from Uganda, East Africa, and I'm coordinating Greenpill Uganda. Like I have a few points that I need to bring out. Lately, we fell off from Refi Uganda, and we are now forming a big solid Greenpill network here in Uganda. So last time I had a thought that maybe we could have a tree planting, maybe with a community. Then maybe we have maybe 10 schools involved, and we can make a report and post also, so that it can be shared with the network, so that people can see the things that we've done, and they can promote us more. And the challenge that we have at the moment is maybe funds to get us print t-shirts, and also maybe go to the schools and communities. So last time I had a chat with Ivo, and I told him if maybe we could have a proposal posted on the network, such that we can have some small funds come in, and we do maybe 3 to 4 days activity, maybe 1 day, 1 week's activity. And we post the report and we post the photographs, such that people can can maybe share with the network. That is one. Secondly, and lastly, I filled the form for Greenpill Uganda for the bounty, but I've always had a challenge with the platform. It gives me a lot of headache. So maybe you'll check it out. Thank you everyone for listening.
Absolutely. Jonathan, I assume you've seen the Sylvie reforestation round that's in GG24?
Not yet.
Okay, let me throw a link. Let me throw a link at you on Telegram. But yeah, that would be, I feel like that's a pretty big funding opportunity, especially since you're talking about tree planting. That might be the solution. Obviously, outside of that, we'll see kind of how that one goes. Outside of that, though, figuring out funding, it's the usual story of we just don't got that much funds floating around in the network. But I'd totally be down to to figure out a proposal to, depending on how the reforestation funding goes, to get you to where you need to be. But yeah, let me throw a link at you there. And yeah, with the Atlantis bounty, we are going to review all the bounties that were submitted at the Writers Guild call tomorrow. So I'm assuming everything is all good, and we just got to submit the transaction, sending the 30 USD glow to you. But yeah, I'll be in touch. I saw you sent me a DM. I'm sorry I haven't responded yet. All right, awesome. Okay, anything else from anybody else, or should we officially wrap this one up? All right, going once, going twice, sold. Hey, everybody, thank you all very much. Doing great work. Appreciate everybody, and yeah, see you soon enough.
Thank you.
And I see
everyone.
Thank you.
Leo just
Thank you, Alpha.
commented that
Thank you,
there's
Matt.
a GG24 Twitter space happening right now, so definitely hop in that one. All right, thanks, gang. Have a great day.
Thanks everyone.